Recently, Dr. Rosemarie Allen, our racial equity expert, bravely shared her journey as a cancer survivor with us. She was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer last year. Dr. Allen is back with us this morning. You had your last treatment in April. You're doing great today, cancer-free, right?
Absolutely.
But tell us a little bit about your hair journey through this, because you lost your hair as part of this.
I did. You know, Corey, after my 4th infusion of chemo, my hair started to fall out. And I decided I didn't want to wait. I wanted to have some control. So I shaved my head.
Wow.
Yeah, and during that time, I started wearing a wig. My friends had had a wig made for me that was custom made, so it really looked very much like my hair, and most people didn't know. But after a while, I had to feel the pain of it. When I shaved my head and when I lost my hair, I had feelings of sadness and despair, even depression, because your hair is your brand and it's part of your identity. So dealing with that was pretty rough. But after a while, I thought, this is who I am, this is the new me, and I'm beginning to embrace that.
Takes a while to get to that point. You said sometimes you even walk by a mirror or a window and it kind of like surprises you.
Absolutely. Even yesterday, I walked by the mirror and my perception of who I am is not what I saw reflected in the mirror.
Yeah.
So I'm not accustomed to it, and I think a big part of it is this was not my choice.
Right. And you were saying, you know, hair is so much a part of our identity. So talk a little bit about the significance of black hair specifically.
You know, black hair, historically, it is based on cultural and spiritual values. And during enslavement, one of the first things the master did was to shave the heads of black women to create that disconnection. And even after slavery, black women were made to cover their heads with head wraps as a form of oppression and status. And what's very interesting is how the way that we braided our hair during enslavement, it served as a roadmap for those who were planning to escape. And even food and gold and things were braided into the hair. And I believe that's where the basic rule of don't touch black hair comes from.
Really?
And it's the historical roots of that.
How does that history impact women today?
Well, you know, for many black women, our hair is our form of expression. It's our brand, it's who we are, it's very versatile. So we're embracing our natural hair more and more, and it's really fascinating to see all the different styles. But as a result of that, there's been a lot of discrimination and still the policing of black hair.
Talk about the Crown Act, because that's been a big conversation in the last couple of years. Does it do enough?
You know, the Crown Act are laws that were passed actually in 18 states to ban discrimination of natural hairstyles in the workplace. And in Colorado, it includes schools. So little black girls can't be suspended because of the way they wear their hair. It's a great start, but it's not enough. We're still policed because of our hair. We're still profiled because of our hair. People interpret our hair in negative ways and say that braids or locks or cornrows are not professional. So we need to go a lot further and really embrace the uniqueness of everyone, including those with black hair.
Dr. Allen, real quick, let's bring it back to you. You look phenomenal.
Oh,
you really do. You always do. But talk about how the hair loss and this journey has really personally affected you.
You know, Corey, it's not something I would have chosen. I've always had a lot of hair, and I've always had a long hair, and it's part of who I am, and it's part of my identity. So like I said, I'm learning to embrace this, but I'm still surprised when I look at myself in the mirror. I've learned that one of the worst things you could ever say to a person who experienced hair loss as a part of chemotherapy, don't ever say to a person, it's only hair, it'll grow back.
Yeah, it's so much more.
So much more.
Yeah. Well, like I said last time you were on when you shared your journey, thank you for sharing your story. It's so brave of you and courageous, and you know, you were an advocate for telling people to get checked out and be your own advocate and know your body. And this is just another piece of that. I think it helps so many women. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.